long winter, definitely. I think there's a lot of pent-up energy with the guys, not just me, myself. I think everyone's they've had their own sports in the fall and winter and stuff, but I think lacrosse is a lot of guys' main sports here, so I think they're really excited to get after this week and just have a little fun.
Definitely. It's definitely anxious. We've been, texting in the chat, and either all of us have been out in the field shooting on this one net in the corner, or, just talking about lacrosse in the school days, talking about the championship game, how that went. We're just all ready for it, and we're waiting for the 27th, which is the first day of the practice. I know we all have it marked on our calendars.
It kind of feels like Christmas morning. We're all, like the last few weeks, if not months, we've all been inside the gym playing wall ball, playing indoor together, all like texting each other in the group chats, just getting ready, thinking about what we're going to do on the field, off the field, in practices and stuff. And then upcoming, we have a trip to New York coming up, so we're all kind of feeling to play there and stuff like that and just get the season kicked off.
We have our preseason trip, which we're leaving for tomorrow, so I think that'll be a good introduction to the season. We're going to have a couple practices there. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to next week when our preseason officially starts. I mean, essentially, it's not like a trip for us to go and improve at lacrosse, really. It's just a trip for bonding and to go and get to know each other better. So it helps to know like what the mentality of the guys on your team are. If you're staying in a room with them, you know how they work a little bit. So it just helps with chemistry on and off the field, and so that everything works well throughout the season.
A lot of team chemistry, definitely. It's been a little bit of a disconnect between some of like the upperclassmen and like underclassmen on some teams, but I think with our team, when we take trips like this, it really connects both of the upperclassmen and underclassmen. It really creates a good team chemistry for the season.
We got to go down to Colgate. We watched a practice. They got to see a really high-level practice. Colgate's not having the best year this year, but I think what was eye-opening to them is like, holy cow, this is a Division I team that's not having a great year, and look at the level of intensity, physicality, skill level. The ball never hits the ground, right? These guys are playing at an elite level, and they've won one game this spring. And they were looking at it like, there's not a bad player out on the field. It's like, yep, that's right. The margin of error is so small in Division I that like that's what a D1 practice looks like. And so that was really neat to kind of see the way that practice was run. The next day we got to go down and see Alfie Jocks, the stick maker, one of the last wooden stick makers down there.
Back then, more people used these knives. If you broke a handle or something, you just run down to Home Depot and buy a new handle. You made your own. So everybody had knives and benches like this. All hitting, tough game. Some of us old guys get in front of the goal, stand there and breathe for a while, wait till the ball comes back. It was tough. And we were playing against young guys with legs, young guys with lungs. Young guys are good. This is just to have fun. The kids and the old folks. So just like lacrosse,
Oh, I love how this goes.
oh, this thing's fun.
Oh, dude, I want to this is so cool.
They are now.
Yeah, they are now.
Yeah, they are now.
They copied me. I also developed a 4-hole system.
I don't know which side. Oh my gosh.
That was a little bit of a cannon.
Oh, open hands.
The opportunity for these guys to hear the stories that he was able to tell, the experiences that he had growing up, and why he started making the sticks, and what he does it for, and who he does it for, and then sort of the spirituality behind the game, and why the Haudenosaunee and why they originally started playing the game, and what they still play for today. I think was a really neat experience for these guys.
Really well, I think. A lot of the older guys and younger guys started bonding more, and which was really fun. It was really fun in general. We played some good lacrosse. We played box. We did a little maroon versus white scrimmage. White came out on top. as always. But it was very fun, yeah, and I think it was good, like rooming with guys and like just getting to know them outside lacrosse is a cool thing. Yeah.
Kind of let all the guys meet each other, like new guys, younger guys, older guys, kind of all intermingle, especially with like even just the bus trips, simple stuff like that. You mix the groups together and you kind of just make new friends, even though you've known them, but you haven't known them that
We got to
well.
play a little bit of box while we were down there. That was fun. I mean, that was secondary. We had a maroon and white scrimmage, and the guys had a really good time doing that. We got to go watch Syracuse, and they were playing Hobart. Max Horton from 2019 was playing on Hobart there, so we got to see Max. Syracuse played great. Always fun to see a lot of goals scored in the game. And then we went to a hockey game that night. And they had we did escape rooms while we were there, so there was a lot of really cool team bonding going on.
Tyler and Dugan out there as the first offensive group. Okay, all the people was on the side there. You guys in spots, we'll talk a little bit. Okay? Tyler Mars. Who do you say on for a minute? Diddy's in the 3 lines.
It's definitely a weird feeling because I've always grown up with, so I grew up with 2 brothers, so I always had people to look up towards, and just playing sports with them, I would always look towards them, and then I came here as a freshman looking toward the senior, sophomore, junior. So now it's kind of my turn to be that bigger role model for the younger kids and for them to have something to look up to. So it's definitely something to get used to, and just like how my actions like kind of form everyone else's and their attitudes. So it's a bigger responsibility for all the seniors
I
too.
don't think it'll feel too different because last year we had a very large junior class and very small senior class. So we were all named captains originally. So I think this year we're a little more used to it. It's not going to be, still not going to be fully comfortable with kind of having the younger guys look up to us and stuff like that. But I think we're more used to it than other teams
Feel
will be.
different just because at Trinity I felt like me and Tate were kind of like the main guys, and I feel like we were kind of the older guys giving inspiration to the younger guys. So through my junior and senior year, I feel like it's just been the same thing adding up, and just honestly, I'm just getting better giving kids feedback and letting them know how their game is and how I see it in my
I
eyes.
think there's more pressure this year. We definitely feel that. And we talked to Coach Hedler about it, but it kind of feels like we're the team to beat because we had a really strong team last year, but we were a little young. And now we've all just moved up a grade, so we're all bigger, stronger, faster. But we didn't lose like any of our crucial leaders or role players. So I think there's a lot of people looking at our team this year, expecting us to be really good. So there's that kind of added pressure on top of just being a senior and a team leader.
Great group of guys. We would work out a lot either after school or during the day. Our juniors, who we didn't have any seniors last year, really stepped up to fill that role of a team captain. And not that they weren't last year, but they're great for us, and they always push us to work
Yeah, I
hard.
actually love it. I've seen a lot of guys put in work this off season. Seen a lot of guys put in work last season too, which I like, even though we came up a little short. I think coming into this season, there's going to be a lot of new stuff, a lot of new people, a lot of new faces on the field that you're going to see. A lot of guys score, and a lot of new guys, especially freshmen and sophomores. We have a big sophomore class this year. I really like the way it's headed.
The work we put in the off season, I know a bunch of the younger guys have been hitting the gym more, and they've gotten taller. I know RJ grew I think he's 6'2", 6'3" now, and he's put some weight on. Same with Liam. I see them both in the gym all the time. So I'm glad that they've been in there, and they're just getting big, and they're getting ready for the season.
Definitely did the work. Actions will speak louder than words, right? We've had a couple things. We've talked about scouting ourselves, right? Good teams, like you said, are kind of complacent, and they rely on, well, we're good at these things, right? Great teams they scout themselves, they know their weaknesses, and they continue to be hungry, and they work on the things that they know they need to work on.
We know that losing feeling, and we know that that's always a possibility. So I think we're all ready for that, and we don't just think we're just going to blow everyone over. We know that we're going to have to work for it. So I think we're all really up to the challenge, and we're just all just ready when that comes.
I think the fact that we've come up short kind of dispels any worry that we're going to be complacent because, I mean, we're all pretty frustrated with the end of last season. It's not fun to get to the championship and lose. So there's still a sense that we have room to improve. And, I mean, we'd like to win this year, but we just want to be a really strong team and play well through the whole season.
I think we all know what's at stake here. I think it's like we feel a little bit of pressure from other teams kind of looking up to us like these are the guys who have to beat this year. Especially last year with teams when they beat us, we have a couple losses. They act like they won the championship. I think that we take that to heart a little bit too.
Keep playing it.
It was a big motivator for me. I'd say, just in general, like our whole team, like we were very bummed. Like we were happy that we made it that far because we had a lot of new guys, and I mean, I think like we thought we were gonna be good, but we didn't know we were gonna be that good to make it. And now we think like that we have a good shot at this year too.
Especially with this year, having been to the championship last year, kids on the team are going to be a little more like used to the playoff settings and like the semis, and if we get to the finals, the finals. So I think this year we're a little more calm, we're a little more collected, and we just know what we need to do to get out there and get after it.
Think that our team is just so focused and so locked in on winning a championship. I'm not really worried about it. I think we're gonna do very good this season and surprise most teams.
Find it. Grip.
With previous groups, right, I always knew I could always fall back on that big game experience, right, that they've been there, they've done those things, they knew how to handle those situations. It's not that these guys don't. A lot of these guys do play at high levels, right? They're playing on high-level club teams. They go and play against some of the best kids in the country. So there's still that. But until you do it, right, you don't know, right? There's that lingering doubt in the back of your head that, like, can you do it? Can you get over the hump, right? And they got to prove that. And I think they're hungry to do that. But we have talked an awful lot about they've seen alumni come back, right? We've had alumni events, we've had alumni games in the fall where those are really special groups. And the reason that they're special is all those guys continue to talk about the fun times they had, winning championships together, making championship games, all that. And they don't talk about individual stats. They don't talk about who was first team All-State or any of that stuff. And that's what I've continued to hammer home with these guys is if you get caught up in the stats, I guarantee you a year from now, you're not going to remember who player of the year was. You're not going to remember how many goals you scored your senior year. If you do win a championship, if you do get to do something special, you will remember that. You'll remember it for a long time. It doesn't discount last year making it to the championship or the Final Four or anything the year before that. Like, those are special too, and those kids will remember those things. And that's, what I tried to hammer home with them is, again, what do you remember about last season? Do you remember that you scored 36 goals and had some, whatever number of assists? No, you don't remember that. You remember that you made it, you overcame some things, right? You had some losses during the season. You grew as a team together. You made it to the finals because you believed in a system. You started playing with each other. And then by the end of the season, you had some really great chemistry built together. And you build on that, right? And that's what these guys have bought into.
Good catch. Stay in there, stay in there. We're playing. Hey, White, you ready? White, you ready?
We do have a JV team, but we don't really designate it a JV team. We run it as a program. We practice together, and we get the kids to buy in. Like, you guys being here is a huge part of why we can do the things that we want to do at practice. And even though you're not necessarily playing in the varsity games, you guys are helping to contribute to our success, right? And then what we've really tried to instill this week is we need leadership. We've started having upperclassmen be buddies with underclassmen or new kids that have come in to try and help teach them the culture of our team and how we do things, and also to build for the future, right? Like, I talked to some of the guys today. Yes, we're trying to drive to win a championship, but at the same time, we don't want to mortgage the future, right? We don't want to be so blind that this is our goal for this season that we forget about this other group of kids that are going to be our future. So it's that balance of trying to grow the program while at the same time trying to win and be as successful as you can while doing it. And a trip like that helps, right? Those kids feel like, hey, this was really cool. I can see what's coming down the line, and I want to be one of those kids in the future. I want to be one of the leaders on the team that get to do this with the young underclassmen coming in the future. We've got a couple guys nicked up and stuff like that, and it's been neat to be able to put guys into places and see some of that depth, and to see the growth. I mean, I don't think there's any mystery behind. Last year, our defense was young, it was inexperienced, it was growing. This year, I mean, I'm excited. Obviously, we have not been out to our first scrimmage yet, but there are things that I think we're going to be able to do. We're going to be able to, I think, play with a little more intensity, a little bit more pressure. Our goaltending has grown exponentially. Parker's playing really well right now. Excited to see him take the next steps. And then in terms of, midfield depth, attack depth, guys that can play SSDM, all those things. There's a lot of really good pieces there in building. Guys did a lot of work in the offseason, and they deserve to have the opportunity to do that. Early season, a guy like Michael Grunbeck, who didn't get a lot of run last year, he's doing some really good things on attack right now as we kind of build that depth for attack. So guys like that have been pleasant surprises there. So it's neat to see the kids recognizing that as well.
Good save, Parker! Way to read it! Looks good. Guys that are coming out for the first time, I'm really impressed. Okay, you guys are picking up things quickly. The important part is don't get frustrated, right? Work on the things every day that if you made a mistake, that's okay. And work on those things will get better each day. Keep a positive attitude. Okay? For guys that are playing well right now, keep raising that bar. We talked about it at the beginning of practice, right? You can't be complacent. Okay? People are going to tell you how good you are. People are going to tell you all these things. Tune out the noise, focus on getting better each day, right? If you do that, then you're going to end up where you want to be at the end of the season. If you don't, then you're going to fall into that trap. Don't let that happen, right? Proud of you guys. Good morning,
I
Seth.
scouted us at the beginning of the season, and I gave it to all the kids, and I told us if I'm playing against you guys, this is how I would scout you. This is what I would do to beat Derryfield, right? It's up to you now. Like, we're going to work on these things. It's up to you guys to take this seriously and understand that, like, there is a game plan, there's a blueprint, there are ways that you can beat Derryfield, and I've given that to you. And there may be things along the way that we can run into that we will have to work on that we didn't anticipate in the scouting report. So I think giving them things like that help to keep them hungry and not fall into that trap of, everybody's telling you how good you are and you guys are the preseason favorites and all these things that they're going to hear, right? Because we do. We return a lot of talent. We went to the championship last year, and so I think it's natural that they're going to hear those things throughout the season. We've been I brought out a mousetrap at the beginning of the season. I said, guys, what do you think this represents, right? And you guys are looking around. I said, don't take the cheese, right? Like, you're gonna look at this, and everybody's gonna tell you how good you are this season, right? Don't take the cheese. Don't bite into it. Don't get caught in the trap, right? Stay hungry every day and keep grinding and work on the things that you need to work on this season, and we'll be in good shape.
How about our goalies?
Ryder, what do you have to say to that? Ryder, what are your words of wisdom?
Tune of the day, Ryder. Ryder, you gonna break us down right now? Here's a break us down.
Derryfield on 3!
Never mind.
Someone else. Stellos on 3! 1, 2, 3, Stellos!
He just got here, dude. This is his first year. You know him.